Today we have Samantha Tridelius joining us. Samantha is a mother, wife, philanthropist, and entrepreneur who embodies the spirit of empowerment and support. From her successful entrepreneur ventures to founding the Sparkle Foundation, which supports single mothers and their children, Samantha's journey is nothing short of inspiring. In this episode, we're diving deep into the world of single parenthood and the challenges and triumphs that come with it. We'll explore how to build and nurture a supportive community, balance the demands of being a multi passionate human, and stepping into your true self. Samantha will share practical advice, heartfelt stories, and actionable tips that will resonate with anyone feeling like you're just trying to hold it all together. Who can relate on that? I know I can. Whether you're a single parent seeking support, an entrepreneur juggling multi passions, or simply someone looking to be inspired, this episode is for you. So settle in and get ready to be empowered. Samantha, welcome to the show.
Hey girl, how are you?
Hey girl, hey. I'm doing good. I'm excited to mingle with you. Kind of I know we probably have a lot in common just reading your bio, so I'm excited to kind of jump into your story and just have a chat and we can all grow together here on Life Without Secrets.
I love it. No secrets. Let's throw it all out on the
Y-
table.
That's right. That's what we're here for. Like we are removing the barriers to everything in life here. So, would love to dive into your story and kind of like what influenced you to start your foundation. I want to dive into the world of single motherhood, parenthood, single parenthood, the challenges that come with it, all of the things. So, just start by sharing a little bit about your background, what inspired you along the way to get to what you do now. Kind of go from there.
Yeah, so there's so many different things all the time. I have been like just I always kind of call myself a do good junkie, right? So doing good
Mm.
has always been a lot of who I am. I started gifting single moms Christmas when I was 23 years old, and the program has just kind of taken off and evolved, and now is a full blown 501c3 featuring assistance from Christmas to enrichment scholarships to microloans. We have 4 different chapters, so we serve all over California, the Bay Area, LA, Sacramento, and most recently we opened up Phoenix, Arizona. Hopefully one day we'll have Sparkle chapters everywhere.
Love that.
I would say my biggest, influence or, one of the really things that kind of helped get this whole thing going on was my grandmother was a single mom in the 1950s. And so, her stories of how she raised these 3 children in an era that did not embrace, that journey was something that always stuck with me. And so when I was of age to make a decision to be able to gift and help, that was just a category I really gravitated towards because I could relate because I knew it was such an underserved category. Um, and kind of the rest is history. So, the foundation itself is a full on passion project. I have another like full on career in insurance and risk management, and that's, how I make my living. And then Sparkle's just, one of those things that doing good really just does feel good. So almost 20 years later, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful, and as someone who was raised by a single mom, I've been a single mom, it can be a really lonely journey. It can be a trying journey where you're trying to balance all of the things that life is throwing at you and kind of feeling like, you're on your own a little bit. And there's all these people that need you for their emotions, their time, there's providing, and being just a single parent is hard, and whether you're navigating that with like a co-parent or not, it can be kind of a lonely journey. And so I love that you started this foundation. Can you tell us like a little bit more about the details of what the Sparkle Foundation kind of does?
Yeah, so it started off with our flagship program, which was our holiday gift drive, which is where I began the whole thing. And it was really just like finding people that needed assistance. And it wasn't so much like, somebody that was, a lifestyle of hardship. It was more of just like a person that had fallen on a moment. Like imagine a train going down a track and it getting derailed and needing to get back on, whether their husband passed away, left, got sick, whatever the case. Those were the women I knew we could be like most impactful for and really pointed at,
Hmm.
and really make a difference because there's a difference between a lifestyle and a situation, and I knew I
Hmm.
wasn't in the position to be able to help and serve on a big main scale for housing and those types of things, but a little win we could do. So that's where it really started. And once we founded and formed the actual nonprofit, because for years it was just like me and my girlfriends doing it all of, we would raise money, we would go buy gifts, we would wrap, and then we would sort and deliver it. So that went on for about 13, 14 years. Then it
Mm.
kind of evolved into like, okay, well, we could probably do a little bit more if we, really kind of tighten this up a bit. So the nonprofit was born, um, which then entered into different things that we could do. So we do enrichment scholarships. And by that, I mean, imagine a single mom who's like, do I pay rent or do I pay for Susie's, softball? And a
Mhm.
mom should never have to make those decisions. So we write those checks to help keep these kids involved in sports and camps and extracurriculars. I just wrote out check number 40 for the year, which is over $40,000 in different scholarships that we've provided for children this year, which is really, really great because it's impactful work.
That
Um,
is so cool.
and then in 2020, we opened up a microloan program. So we started gifting money and mentorship to moms that wanted to start or grow their businesses. And that's been really fun. We got two out, like loans funded. And we are working on our third right now. So the program works and it's really great to help promote and see women thrive in their business dreams. We do enrichment boxes, meaning actually gratitude boxes, excuse me. So when it was COVID and we were trying to like redefine, nobody was going to camp, but nurses and doctors and teachers were all going to work. So we did gratitude boxes. We showed up at the hospitals with
Oh,
gobs
that's
of like
sweet.
makeup and skincare and things to help, say thank you. And we do backpacks. I mean, we do a lot of really fun things. And the whole point is to really serve our community of single moms because they are all over. They look like every single person and they are the last one to ask for help, but the one that needs it the most.
Yeah, I know. It's so true. I can relate to that too. And like I said, that goes back to, feeling lonely and needing a support system or a community. And I feel like you have really built this into also like a cool community, where people can count on others. And I want to know, like, you know, what would be you have any tips about like if somebody is a single parent and feeling alone on their journey, how can they really build a supportive community around them? Is there anything that you suggest?
I think the first thing, and I think whether you're a single parent or just a parent in general, or just a woman in general,
Yeah.
like women, we tribe hard, right? So when we
Mhm.
find our crew and our tribe, like we want to help each other out. And so, I mean, I'm super guilty and like the last person to ask for assistance. Like I will be spread so thin and like, okay, finally I got to ask for help before
Yep.
I'll actually ask for it. That's just who we are as individuals, I think. But women want to help each other. We are a community of people, beings that want to help and serve each other. So I think, connecting yourself with like-minded individuals is, the first and foremost, like, easiest thing to do. And then building on that, sometimes people really struggle with like, especially as we get older too. It's like, well, where do you find these people?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't like put an ad up on the internet and find friends,
Sometimes I feel like I want to. I'm like,
right?
"Can I just put on Instagram like, 'Hi, looking for somebody like me in my community.'"
No, but I think, obviously your children and those types of, things help kind of gravitate, people into your world. Sometimes they're people that you really jive with, and sometimes you're just like, whoa, not what I was, planning on. But another great way to meet people is, getting involved with different organizations and volunteering and being a part of, different organizations that have like similar things that you're into. I mean, that's another really great way to meet people. And I notice a lot of our Sparkle community are women that have met, wrapping gifts
Mhm.
or doing things or mentoring or just being a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And so that's always like a really great, fusion. I think as we get older, finding ourselves aligning with people that have similar interests.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I just love to keep it real. And like we were talking earlier on the show, it's like, summer's just ending and everything is like really overwhelming. It's exhausting. I'm sure I'm not the only one that felt that. And so for people that are feeling like overwhelmed, like I have this long to-do list, whether you're single or not, like we're talking about, this is literally applies to anybody listening right now. Like when you have those moments where your to-do list is so long, there's kids in your house running around, you still need to get these things done. And, it's back to school time. So you have, extra lists to do and other people's lists to fill, and you're feeling really overwhelmed.
God, I just, like, get hot thinking about it. I'm like,
Right, it's a
"Whoa."
real thing. I mean, you're, like, in it at the moment, I'm assuming. I my kids just went back to school last week, so I really started with a I have a little bit of a fresh breath of air at the moment. Like, it's
Yes.
manageable right now, but for those feeling overwhelmed, what are some small actionable steps that they can stake or that they can start taking to really gain control and find some balance?
Yeah, I love the word balance because here's a little tidbit, ladies and gents, it doesn't exist, okay?
Yeah.
Like, it is a word that is really fun to throw around, but the reality is it's not, and I say this often, you know, your day, your time is how you wanna manage it, right? And you're the decider of how you wanna manage it. So, I mean, there are certain non-negotiables, like, I gotta be at work from 9 to 5 or do these different things, but for the most part, I mean, how I divide and conquer my day is I put it into little, like, time buckets of time. And
Mhm.
each day, these buckets are gonna look different. So, I mean, what you're talking about and explaining the overwhelmingness, like, I am not an anxious person by nature, and I was laying in bed last night, and I was just like, "Holy shit." Like,
Mhm.
"Whoa, here we go." And, like, "How am I gonna get this one from this place? And I've got this, and I've
Yep.
got this travel," and all these different things. I mean,
And
the
throw in some
fall
more sports and
yeah, like, the fall buildup is, like, crazy, but I reminded myself, like, "Samantha, you just have got to manage these buckets." So, like, some of the stuff you can shift around, and I think going to bed and feeling like a failure is not a great feeling, and it's also not something that we should any of us should be subscribing to.
Mm.
And we allow ourselves to subscribe to it, especially as women, because we take on a lot of the burden. But you just have to, like, draw the line in the sand and say, "Okay, listen, like, today, these are the tasks, these are the things that must get done. Like, I've got to pick up the kids. I've got
Yeah.
to feed them, right? But, this other
They
thing
survived.
yeah, this other thing that I'm supposed to be doing, like, I don't have to do." And the other thing too is busy women tend to say yes to a lot of stuff. Like, we're yes, maybe because we're people pleasing or maybe because we're like, we could do that. I'm about, like, not saying yes to, like, all those different things because, when you're so preoccupied, you're not, like, allowing yourself time to really do the things that A, bring you joy, and B, can help push you in the direction that you wanna go. So, let that other mom pick up the snacks for the football game this week, She wants something else to do. Doesn't have to be you all the time. So, managing your time, managing your buckets of time, and you don't have to say yes to everything. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be, like, looking badly upon you.
Yeah, and you know what? Something else that I started doing last week actually was, I'm a busy mom, right? And I don't love the word busy because I'm like, what's behind busy? What is it? Because it's like, how's it going? Oh, it's busy. You hear that a lot. Um, so we have a packed schedule, and it's like I prepare things ahead of time, right? And so that time can work for me in the moment. But when you have children too, they have their own clock too. And I used to put so much stress, and I say I used to, I'm like talking like a week ago, okay. Put so much stress on like, oh my gosh, we get home at 3:30, you got to get a snack, you got to get your stuff, we got to be there by 4 o'clock. It starts at 4, and I'm like, "This feels so stressful," and now I feel like my kids are feeling stressful, and now they're having a tantrum because the whole stress in the house is like chaos, right? And so I was like, "You know what? Does it really matter if we're 5 minutes late to practice just so he can breathe a little bit and we can just, like, all be happy when we get there? Like, does it really matter?"
Yeah.
No, it
No.
doesn't.
No.
That's what I found. I'm like, the 5 minutes did not matter, and we were 5 minutes late, and it was okay, and everybody was happy, and I felt good about it.
Right? And
So,
it's
yeah.
totally I always say that, like, life is like a birth plan, right?
Oh,
Because
yes. Oh my
because we
gosh.
all have, like, what we thought it was gonna be and then what it really is, and they're very different. And some days, like, you will have something thrown at you that you're like, "Wow, I wasn't ready for that at all." But,
Mhm.
preparation around the things that you can control, I think is another secret of success, if you know you've got these things coming up, and you can prepare for them ahead of time, I think that's takes a whole lot of stress off of, your table, because you don't know what's gonna come your way, and believe me, there will be something that will come your way.
Yeah, that never fails, right? Just when we think we have it all figured out, something's coming up.
100%, 100%, or something like there'd be some, somebody's barfing or, there's some huge drama. I've got 2 teen girls, so, you can only
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, and also just like giving yourself like a little bit of space to like
Mhm.
have those 5
For
minutes.
grace.
If you need those 5 minutes, girl, take the 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. I like to put myself on timeouts. That way, if I'm like, you needed timeout, it's not a negative thing, it's positive. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I need a timeout. I need like 5 minutes. I'm on timeout. I just want to be alone for a minute. And it's okay to do that too.
I have that as my car time. Like, usually when I'm
Oh yeah.
doing my rotation of and I'm just like that's the only time I'm alone and uninterrupted, and I can choose to, like, not
Mhm.
answer the phone, I can just sit and listen to music, and that to me is just that, some people meditate. I'll have, like, my car time with, like, Wu-Tang, and I'm back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes. Totally feel
All
you.
you need.
Yeah. So, okay. So, going back to like building some support networks, let's say, and I want to I want to talk about like, because you built a community with the Sparkle Foundation, I feel like, and you have these wonderful women that work together to help other people, which I think is so amazing. How, if someone wants to start building like their own network just for like a supportive community, like, even if it's just having each other, what are some tips for those feeling isolated or unsure where to begin?
Well, I think, there's no rule book, so to speak. I think it's, something as simple as having, a couple of girlfriends meet up for, appetizers or drinks or whatever after a day's work or on a weekend after sports. And whatever with the kids. I think that there are different types of relationships that you have with different groups of people, and I think that's also something really important. So you'll have like your mom friends, you'll have your work, crew, you'll have your, women, uplifting mentorship type of things, and sometimes they all blend together, and that's a great day, and sometimes they're all very different, but they all bring different things to the table. So I think there's so many great groups out there and in your communities wherever you are. I mean, there's business groups, there's mommy groups, there's, women that are single, women that are ready to mingle. There's so
Mhm.
many different things. And just like jump in. And if you don't like it or you're not into it, like that's cool. And if you don't find what you want, like starting your own thing is totally cool too. I mean, I've been involved with a lot of different groups, started groups. I think it really just is about like setting up the space to do it and going for it.
Mhm. Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who maybe is a single parent, or maybe their spouse just works a lot, so they're home with the kids more, taking care of that side of the CEO of their home type of situation, and you know, they're feeling isolated because they're working, they're trying to take care of everybody else's needs, but they find themselves like, like, "Oh, I don't really have a support network." Like, yeah, I say hi to the moms at school, I say hi to the people at work, but I really just don't have time. I don't have time to, go hang out with those people because I have a family and I have, a relationship, or I have to pay my bills. What would you say to them?
Well, I would say 2 things. I would say that you are the chooser of the way you wanna live your life. So, if you're not happy or needing other things, like, you're the only person that's going to be able to make that happen for yourself. And you will always make time for the things that are important. I don't care how
Mhm,
busy you are, right?
mhm,
You will always make time to fit things in or make things make sense or augment or shift things around. So, you know, people that sit and say, "Oh, I wish I did," or "Oh, I wish I had." Well, you're the only thing that's holding you back from having and doing those things. So just make block your time out, give yourself an hour. If you can't give yourself an hour a day, then you've got to figure something out because, that's a scheduling problem on you. And when we're in the thick of it with young kids, I mean, I've been there. My girls are
mhm,
a little bit older, but I remember those days where I felt
mhm.
super isolated because I would like, mom, go to work, mom, go to bed.
Yep.
And that was my rat roll every day. And you know what I did is like I wanted to get back in shape and I wanted to like, the fitness part of me helps me clear my head. And that's like 1 hour that I would allot myself. And even, as far back as 10 years ago, like that was something I started doing. That 1 hour changed my life. And that
Mhm.
1 hour built community. I would meet women, I would meet women that are still lifelong friends, and I work out every day, and I have a group of women I work out with every day still. And it's a huge part of who I am in my life and a huge support system in that way. So, I mean, even something that's great for your health can also help you build community and make new connections.
Yeah, and I think, starting from a positive place is really important, like you're saying, like, you went and got your workout in. So not only are you building a community there if you're working outside your home, but you're also like putting yourself in a more positive place where you feel confident and proud to go out there and mingle with other people, or giving yourself the confidence to then go build something else or take that leap of faith into another direction, like where you're building your confidence there. I know for me, it's like I have a non-negotiable in the mornings, especially during the week, is like I wake up early so that I can just have peace and quiet for 30 minutes. It's a non-negotiable for me. I need to start my day with just like peace.
Mhm.
It's like it's how I start with like a more full cup than than I woke up with.
Yes.
And, I the kids went back to school and now I'm doing, my filling my cup with the quiet time and then I go right into my workout afterwards, which I'll tell you what, the first week was awful. I felt awful. I felt like I wanted to take a nap all day because it felt so awful.
Mhm.
But I'm in my 2nd week right now, and I'll tell you, I feel so good today,
I think
so
it
just
clears
doing
your
those
head.
things for ourselves in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the busy schedules, whether you're alone or with somebody, I think is, like, super important.
Well, and I think it clears your head, and I think if like,
Yeah.
I was telling somebody, because I just had gotten back from a 2-month long I was like, "We're going away for summer." I mean, I was, working and functioning because we can work where the internet is, but I mean,
Mhm.
not physically in my house here. And somebody's like, "Well, I wish I could do that." And I go, "Well, why don't you?" Like, if anything I learned from the COVID, like,
Mm.
self-reflection was 2 things, like, make time for the things that I wanna do, and also, like, if I wanna go do X, Y, and Z or travel or take the time to clear my mind, do it, right? Well,
Yeah.
why am I not doing it? Because somebody says I shouldn't do it? Or because I
Mhm.
don't think I can do it? Or because I'm not making time to do it? So, not that everybody's in a position to take off for months or weeks at a time because it's really, it took me a long time to get to that place, I'll tell you that, but just even that simple moment of giving yourself that hour of whether you go for a walk, whether
Mhm.
do nothing, whether you sit in your car, I mean, just literally that 1 hour a day can be a game changer.
Yeah. It has been for me for sure. What about, like, what advice would you give for, people that are just juggling multiple roles? They're a multi-passionate human. And how do we juggle it all without burning out?
My rule is when it stops being fun, I stop doing it. So when I no longer enjoy doing something and it becomes more, you know, just something I think about and I'm like, then it's off my list. But as
Mm,
long as I'm enjoying it, I will game on and do it all the time. And I think for most of us, when we have things on our plate that are fulfilling, that we enjoy doing, we will allocate the time to do it. And as we age, mentally and physically and all those things, like the things that we want to plug our time into are going to be different. So the juggling act becomes different because those things shift around as we shift around. But I mean, is there a secret? No. Um, there's no
mhm,
secret. I think it's just really finding the things that bring you joy and eliminating the things that don't bring you joy, or
yeah,
outsourcing those. If you're not a person that's into like computer work and spreadsheets, there's a person who really loves doing that stuff. Let them do it
mhm,
and take that juggling act out of the circus, and so you can
yeah,
bring in some other new crazy act to your show. I mean, it's okay to outsource those tasks and things that you're not good at or aren't a good use of your time.
and have you been through points in your life where you have maybe made big transitions because, it was like, "You know what? This is actually burning me out at this point." What did you do during those moments to, um, kinda regain that energy that you needed to try something else or to find joy in that thing?
I mean, I'm always kind of evolving in different things. I'm a huge fan of moving the cheese around. So, when I get too comfortable, that's not a good thing. Um, I, was very actively my husband and I had an insurance business for years and years, and I was really active in, a lot of the nitty-gritty and the day-to-day, things and doing, like, the books. Like, I am
Mhm.
a social I am your, influencing person, I am your people person. The last thing you wanna do is put me behind a calculator and an Excel spreadsheet. I will
Feel you.
triple up like a little like, remember, on The Little Mermaid, Ursula's, eels when they turn into the poor unfortunate souls? That's what happens to me behind those situations, and I did it for, like, 4 years because somebody had to do it, and it helped, keep the business, that was it needed to get done, and I hated it, and so when I removed myself from that part of the business, it was, like, super hard because I'm such a control, like, type A girl, but at the same time, it was like, this was never supposed to be what I was supposed to be doing, and so removing myself, knowing that, like, there are things I'm good at and things I'm 100% not good at, that I am 100% not good at. I needed to know how to do it, and as a business owner, I will always know how to do everything. That's just
Mhm.
part of how I operate, but there are things I don't wanna do and I'm not going to do anymore.
Yeah, so do you find that you can do something that maybe isn't fun for you or that, kind of makes you shrink in a way, right? Knowing that there's a goal at the end or a light at the end of the tunnel and that, this is just a step in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I think as an entrepreneur, we do things all the time, even just as a human being. I mean,
Mhm.
forget like owning a business. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's things we do all the time that we don't like doing that suck. And you're just like, there has to be like a result or a reason why I'm doing this. And those types of things I think make and build character, doing the hard stuff, doing the things we don't enjoy doing, because at the end of the day, like we then can, either outsource that or figure out a way to do it and make it a way that we enjoy it or just don't do it at all. So I think yeah, I think there's definitely a method to the madness there for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
but doing hard things is part of the deal. Like if it was super easy, here's a newsflash, everyone would be doing it.
I know, and you know what, Samantha? Like, a lot of people I go online and everybody makes it look easy.
It's
So, then when it's hard, I think we think like, "Oh, it's time to tap out," rather than to stick with it, right? Because I think everything online is like, "Oh, all you need to do is 1, 2, 3, and then it's gonna be like this magical thing," and I'm like, "That has never been in my life." Like, what are you living? Do you have like a secret potion or something?
No, there's no it's a lot of what we see in a lot of things is a lot of smoke and mirrors, and also we're not really allocating the brain space to really think about what it took to get there, Like right now I'm planning a huge event for our fundraiser, which is
Mhm.
in 3 it's at the 29th of September. And, here we are doing all this stuff and it's like you would never think in a million years that we've been actually talking, working and doing this for almost 6 months. But nobody thinks about that. They just think about the end result.
Yep.
And so, what it takes to become successful, whatever that means to you, what it takes to become, somewhat of a maven in your space. I mean, that is a process and a humbling experience to go through. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's by no means something that's easy or not, having some hardship attached to it. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. What about those finding or struggling to find, like, what or to identify their unique skills and how to leverage their skills effectively? What would you say to that person?
Well, we all have our what we call average power, right? So,
Tell me. Tell me more about that.
in my early 20s, I had this group of powerhouse girlfriends, and we would be like, strolling around San Francisco in our high heels. Um, and we had this like little joke where we all had something significant that we brought to the table. Like one girlfriend would like always get like guys would just like give her their number and like literally just walk by and like put it in her bag, and we'd be like, dude, what? Another girl, like, would have, like, people say the most inappropriate things to her, like, open up in ways that you're just like, "We're in an elevator, like, what are we doing?" My power has always been building community and, like, rallying troops, so if I'm, like, into something, like, you better believe you're gonna know about it and come and join me because why wouldn't you, right? That's just who I have, like, that infectious personality, and I
Mhm.
know it, and I live it, and I embrace it. Um, Everybody's got some special juju. Everybody's got it in them. And many of us might not, know that it's in there, or we haven't really figured out like how to best get that out in the world. But everybody's got a secret something.
Yeah, I totally agree. So tell me about a pivotal moment when you truly stepped into who you are and how that changed kind of the trajectory of where you were going.
I mean, I'm still evolving.
Always. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think motherhood really was a big moment for me because I was never really one of those people that was like, "When I grow up, I wanna have kids." Like, that was not my
Mhm.
life plan. And then here we go. I got 2 amazing girls who challenge me and make me be the best I possibly can every single day. So even if I wake up and I feel like the world is on, all my shoulders and I'm just like, ugh, I gotta walk out of that bedroom and have a smile on my face and be the best I can for them, even though they can see right through it most of the time because they're just like
I
me.
get it. Yep.
But I think that motherhood, I think, was such a defining moment because it really, made me show up in a way that I didn't even know I had in me or knew what to do. I mean, there is no manual for motherhood. They just like come out and then you're like,
Here
okay,
you
well,
go.
I gotta like make sure you don't die, right? I gotta feed you and put clothes on you and
And
keep
then,
you
by the way, who am I again?
right? Like what has happened to me? But at the same time, it's like the most incredible experience and the hardest experience, like as any person that has children will tell you. It's a lot. So it's I,
Yeah.
I think for me right now, that's what I would say.
I think for me too, I mean, I was a mom. I was a teen mom. So I was pregnant at 17, had my first son at 18. But I remember like it was literally like a light switch, like just flipped.
Yeah.
It was like my perspective was this one day and this another day, you know? And so, yeah, I think it definitely made me see the world differently. It made me um, ask questions, investigate, like, how what it looked like to be a mom to me, what it looked like to be me, who am I? Being so young though, I was still really discovering like what I liked, what I didn't like. Um, but I had a path already, thankfully, that I was going down. And so I just continued on that path. I still showed up for me in the ways that was going to be beneficial to both of us.
Hmm.
Instead of losing myself, it was just like he was another reason for me to gain more in myself. I think that um, sometimes we can give our lives to our kids, which I get it. But, at the end of the day, they have to be their own person too when they're an adult.
Yeah. I mean, it's our job to teach them to get out there and um, be nice human beings,
Mhm.
be productive in society, live a purposeful life. And it's really, I think the hardest thing that I'm starting to go through is watching them struggle with their emotions and situations. Now it's not like when they're little, like you just manage a situation for them. Now I'm trying to teach them to, you know, work with, if they've got a conflict with a friend or something's,
Mhm.
you need to work it out. Like I'm not here to like I'm not going to be that mom who's calling it, when you're 27 looking for like you got to figure your stuff out. So I think watching that happen is the hardest part of like my journey at the moment. Um
Yeah.
but it's also really cool to watch them figure it out and you can kind of be on the sidelines to be like, well, I maybe would have had it tolerated it.
You're the whistleblower, like, "Whew, okay, pause."
Yeah, I don't know that that's really what I was meaning there, but no, it's interesting, and those things that they always say that the kids, it's not about what you tell them, it's about how you act and show them, and so
Mm,
watching my girls navigate life based off of the things that they watch me navigate life, and I'm not even realizing that they're watching me, is really kind of fun.
yeah. Is there anything, like, you struggled with that you would like to like, you would go back and change and, like, you learned a lesson from, whether it's from motherhood or whatever?
I think I'm always learning lessons, and I think they're
Mhm.
more of like, I've had plenty of times in business where I've, reacted poorly or not seen something for what it was, or had people, wrong me, and I'm like taking it all personally. I think, you know, a lot of that journey to become the woman I am has been tough, but it's also been
Mhm.
kind of cool because now when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's why that happened. Um, but I think too, hardship, as though no one likes to talk about it, the hardships are what make you who you are. And I actually was at the women's conference in Santa Clara, the big one that they do. There was like, I don't know, thousands of women there, and Viola Davis was the keynote speaker. And if you've ever had
Mm.
to listen to her talk, It's
Mhm.
but one of the things she said, and I loved it, was, we as women are taught to take and leave all our baggage at the door when we walk into a room, whether it's our personal life, our professional life. Like we're told to just leave all that outside and then walk in with whatever character, is on script. Well, the reality is we got to bring all that baggage in with us. Not that we need to muddy the water, but the baggage is what makes us who we are. And that's how we have these different experiences to relate to different situations. So, bring it all in, girl. Like bring the stuff in, because the stuff is what is your is who you are.
And I feel like the stuff is really what connects us on a deeper level.
Yeah, I mean, I think to sit there and pretend like your life is perfect and it's just
Mhm.
as easy as 1, 2, 3, and oh, check out this filter. I mean, we all can see right through that. Like for the rest of us that are out there doing the work, like we look at that and go, okay, but where's the substance and where's the reality? Because the reality is very different, and we can. I want to hear that somebody's going through the same stuff I'm going through, because then I'm gonna stop what I'm doing. I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna say, hey, here's something that helps when I was going through this, or how did that person navigate that? Because my God, like I'm dealing with that too. I mean, women we like to help and we like to nurture. And so I think being that we can talk about these different things that we're all going through it's great. Like
Mhm.
the internet, as annoying as it is, like there's a lot of really great stuff that
Yeah.
I was what scrolling on something and it was like perimenopause and what's happening to my body. I'm like, holy shit, like what is happening to my body?
Yeah. Me
Why
too. Me too.
why am I so ornery? Like, why am I
Yeah.
need to oh God, maybe I'm going through that, at 43. Here we go. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool because you can connect on a fun level too. And tune out the noise.
Oh, so good. Well, you also have, a book, right, that showcases stories of incredible women. Is it called Impact?
It is. I've got
Yeah.
one done. One I just actually last night sent volume 2 off to the editor. So number
Oh
2
my
is on its
gosh.
way. They are stories of incredible women doing incredible things. It started off as kind of like a little 40th birthday present to myself. I was like, I am only the woman I am because of all these incredible people, and I'm going to tell everyone
Aw,
about them.
how cool.
And then this edition, it was always meant to be a 3 volume series. So I did one. It was like, let's see if it works, if I could do it. And then it worked. And so I've been working on the other one. It's done now. And it's, women in the community, women that are real deal impact changers, at a very, level that's like right down the street that you can go, wow, like she is making a big difference. Because women, as we know, unless you have a huge like platform or, a whole bunch of money, a lot of times your story doesn't get told. And
Yeah,
women are doing incredible things all the time. So let's highlight them.
I love that so much. Do you have any, like, favorite stories or something you can share with us?
Um, so yeah,
Yet?
no.
I know it's early.
So, one of the stories that I wrote about in the first book is a woman by the name of Franza Bragg, and she was a teacher for my parents' business. We have an insurance education business, and I remember like I was maybe 19, maybe 20, and she was this woman. She was like 4'11". She was the only woman who was in insurance in the 60s, and she was Jewish, and she was like literally 4 feet tall. She was so cute. And no one took her seriously because she was a woman, and it was like an old white dude business, which
Mm,
still is. Okay,
mhm.
we've come a long way, but we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Um, but she had sat me down one time and she goes, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something, and this is something you'll remember forever. She goes, you only need 4 things in life. And I go, okay, well, what is it? She says, in your car at all times, you need to have $100 bill, a screwdriver, a pair of black panties, and red lipstick. She says,
Oh, boy.
Samantha, these 4 things will get you out of any situation. And I, to this day, keep those 4 things in my car at all times because at many different situations, like I needed the screwdriver, I needed the $100,
Need those panties.
you need the panties, you got to put the power red lip on. And it was like, oh, such a great statement from such a woman I admired so much. And she's passed away,
Did she ever say, like, what made her think of those 4 random things?
well, she was like the scrappy gal. Like she at
Oh
one
my
point, I
gosh.
mean, her stories were so amazing. I remember at one point she was, I mean, I would probably never say this story, but I will now. She was smuggling parrots in from San Diego into LA, like through Mexico in shoeboxes because people wanted these crazy. I mean, her stories were incredible. And she would outsell all the guys in their life insurance meetings I mean, she was just this like little person with so much like she walked so tall. And I think from her trials and tribulations of life, like those 4 things were what saved her on many occasion. So it was like her good piece of advice.
Yeah, and, like, really cool, like, I just I'm picturing this red lipstick, and I'm thinking, like, yeah, she really walked tall with that red lipstick, I bet you, like, and sold all those things.
Every woman needs a power red lipstick. I have one
Yeah.
that sits on my desk and the Tom Ford red lipstick. It is the best. And when I'm like
Oh,
sitting at my desk and I'm just it'll be 10 o'clock at night sometimes and I'll just be like working away. I'll just put the red lipstick on. I will. No one's gonna see it but me. And it like
yeah.
makes you feel powerful. Like a power red lipstick works wonders.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much. It's so good. So what motivates you to keep pushing forward and taking on, like, new projects and, you've been doing this for a while now, and you're still going strong. What keeps you there?
The power of purpose, it really does keep me going every day. I mean, there are days where I'm just like, okay, how much longer do I want to do this? Right. Cause I always said, like, at year 10, I would really think about if I wanted to continue on at the level that I am.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but now I'm on a 8. I'll be coming up on 9 here pretty soon. I'm like, we're just getting started. I feel like
Mhm.
that the older we get as an organization, the more our reach is, and, people know who we are, people, know what we do and the work speaks for itself. So I think like that really keeps me going. The emails and the impact and the stories that we hear back from the moms that we are assisting, or even just people that are like volunteering their time and getting to have the opportunity to help someone else. That's a pretty rad feeling, and it's a pretty cool place to like sit and watch happen. And last year we had like 750 people show up to help us. Like
Wow.
we've got a ton of people that are into,
That's
like,
cool.
what we're doing, and it's pretty incredible when you sit and think about, like, a little organization that literally started out of my house, has grown into something so much bigger than me. So that's
Yeah.
what keeps me going.
That is so cool. What is what would be the most important lesson or something really that stands out to you in your life, a lesson that you've learned through your journey thus far that you would share with us?
I think just taking chances, taking risks, being able to, like, dream it and do it.
Put
Those are
on
the
your red
things.
lipstick.
And put the red lipstick on. I think that, when you sit and you have these dreams or these moments of like, "Oh, I wish I could," or, "I would like to." Well, what are you doing to implement that to become a reality? I'm a huge fan of like a vision board. I'm actually looking at my board right now. It sits in my office. I've been doing them for, 15 years. And
Mm,
everyone's like, "Oh, that's so like, you and everybody else." I'm like, "But listen, I every year get to go pull off these wonderful little things that I've just planted the seeds that I've
mhm.
done and I've wanted to do and I make happen. So I think you know, realizing your strengths, realizing your weaknesses, figuring out what you want to do and get out there and go do it is it's what it's all about. And I think that's my best advice. Like, what's holding you back? You're the only thing that's holding you back, honestly. And if you screw it up or if it's like the wrong road that you walk down, like it's cool. You're gonna fall down, dust your knees off, and turn around, go down the other road, and to find where it is you want to be, because you don't want to end life going, "You wish you would have."
Yeah, 100%. Take the risk. I love that. Well, how can people connect with you and learn more about your work and the Sparkle Foundation?
I've made it very easy. It's just my name at Samantha Tridelius on all socials and just my website, samanthatradelius.com, is where you can kind of like it'll link to Sparkle, it'll link to all the things.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today, sharing your journey, your insights, and all your advice with us.
Thanks for having me. So much fun.
I know, right? So fun. To our listeners, we hope you found today's episode as enlightening and motivating as we did. Together, we can do anything. Samantha truly embodies my favorite quote: leave a little sparkle wherever you go. Go ahead and check out her work and go check out the Sparkle Foundation and give if you can. It's a very shining example of what something that started small can be so big and help so many people. So let's strive to help others sparkle in their lives too. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, reading, and leaving a review. Stay connected with us for more inspiring stories and valuable insights. Until next time, remember to embrace your journey, take control of your health, take the risks, and live life without secrets. Hey there, it's Jillian from Life Without Secrets. Ever feel like you and your partner aren't quite on the same page? Well, you're not alone, and that's exactly why I created our latest issue of Truthful magazine. It's packed with insights and stories about bridging that gap and finding a deeper connection. We're diving into real conversations about needs, feelings, and how honest dialogue can rekindle that closeness that you've been missing. Why not explore this together? Go grab your free copy right now at lifewithoutsecrets.com and turn those pages into shared moments. Can't wait for you to dive in and share your thoughts with me.